A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. Ron George alongside, as it is Friday, and it's here. Bracket Christmas has arrived. Oh, the joy of having basketball from lunch till midnight snack. Yeah, that's how I roll. I'm fat. What do you want? I gauge everything by food. Can you not tell? We got basketball kicking off at noon today. We had the first four last night, and the games were pretty good.
Yeah, they were.
Actually, we had some really good games. Unfortunately, I was not able to see live the Michigan State-UCLA game because, like the old man that I am, I fell asleep about 2 seconds before tip-off, and then I woke up at like 1:30 going, oh, it's halftime. Because like it looked like the halftime show was on. And then they started doing highlights from the second half, and I went, fuck, I missed it.
Yep.
But such is the tournament, as we are in full swing now for the march to the national championship. And last night in the first four, we'll get you caught up on everything that happened, as well as go over the games today. Plus, I've come to a realization about my team, and I think it helps us add another check mark to the March Madness must-haves. What you have to be successful in March Madness and make a deep run. The NFL's got a big TV deal as well. We'll go over the ins and outs of that, and oh my God, we're finally going to be able to have Monday Night Football flexed. Thank God.
Can't wait for that.
It's only been, 15 years that we've been screaming, why the and we end up with, Bears and Browns matchups on fucking Monday Night Football 14 weeks into the season when at least one of the teams is irrelevant, and most years both teams are irrelevant. We'll get you caught up on the free agent classes as well. I want to go through and just get us all caught up because it's been, again, like drinking from a fire hose. And of course, we're going to have to talk about it at some point. Desean Watson, this thing it's getting bigger and bigger as it goes along, and now apparently there are 9 accusers.
Yeah.
And at that point, I start to go, okay.
I'm starting to...
Okay, maybe there's some fire. Maybe there's some fire here. But anywho, we're going to get to it all over the next hour here, and anything you want to talk about as well, just throw it up in the comments. I'm not the greatest at keeping up with the comments, but I will do my best throughout the program here. Apparently, Ron's computer decided not to work today.
Okay, I got my little telephone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, we got it all coming in, and yes, Jeremy does look super sexy, doesn't he, today? Did you do that?
I did do that.
You shouldn't have done that. That's not good, because that's actually, you see, it would be funny if you put it on like a fit body, like something that we wouldn't believe is actual,
I wanted it accurate.
Kind of similar. And now you've done something that's more accurate, and now I feel like I can't get it out of my brain. It's like staring at me.
You're going to see him Monday and be like, oh.
No. That's too much of Jeremy. And now, I'm going to have to click off that page because I just can't look at it at every turn. Welcome into the program. Yes, we are live in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I believe you can still get in on the bracket game. I don't think it actually starts or closes the brackets until noon today, right before the tip-off of the first game of the actual first round of the tournament. Thankfully, in many people like me and Brian's case, that we advanced Michigan State in the into the main draw of the tournament and maybe a little farther, but now we get UCLA. So go UCLA. Don't fuck up our brackets because both of them count. That's the best part about picking that team to go farther in the tournament is, at least you're going to have a 50-50 shot of not getting it wrong after it's all said and done. But, last night UCLA took care of business against Michigan State in overtime. They end up coming out victorious by 6. Excuse me.
It was a good comeback, too.
86-80 was your final score, and it's a little bit of a disappointing end to to the Michigan State Spartan, or what is it? The MSU Spartans, presented by Rocket Mortgage's season. I always say you can't count out Tom Izzo.
Yep.
Except for when you can, apparently, because what was it? 5 years ago, I believe it was, when they got knocked out of the tournament as a 2 seed. Mm-hmm. Norfolk State, I think, was the one that knocked them out of that tournament. And then now I believe Tom Izzo has become the first coach in NCAA history to win a national championship and lose in the first 4.
Oh, my gosh.
It's kind of a dubious honor, but, it just goes to show you. It just goes to show you. Even great coaches can have down years. As I tell you right now, Mike Krzyzewski's sitting at home and going, I wish I could have lost in the first 4.
Yeah.
I wish I'd had one more game to play. So as much as you can talk shit about Izzo's team going home in the first 4, at least they made the tournament. I guess we can just say they tried.
Give it the good old
good old college try. But they ended up losing last night in overtime to UCLA, so UCLA will now move on, and hopefully they will keep the bracket dreams alive for many of us who had Michigan State making at least a little bit of noise in the tournament. Were they one that you advanced?
Nope. I didn't think they were going to win tonight.
You a believer in USC?
No, I just don't believe in Michigan State. I just never have this year.
Is that the USC game? No, that's the other one. That's Wichita State.
Yeah.
Now I'm confused, and I don't have my bracket pulled up. Of course I don't. Of course I don't. Anywho, Drake ended up, killing 2 birds with 1 stone for me last night in the Bet Your House segment. I gave you, 2 spicy picks for the NCAA tournament. Obviously, Michigan State didn't cover the 2. However, Wichita State plus the 2, thank you very much. I was getting very concerned down at the end of the game. They got down by 4 right there with about 16 seconds to go, and I was like, fuck, they're not going to cover. I didn't want to see them win anyway because I want to see Drake piss Jeremy off.
Yep.
But Drake, it was a hard-fought ball game. And nearly identical scores between the Drake Wichita State and the Appalachian State Norfolk State games. Both those games were down in the 50s. It wasn't the greatest basketball to watch, but you could just tell. This is what I love about March Madness and college basketball is watching these guys on the floor. They're leaving everything out there. They're playing physical. They're getting tough. It's just, and I get it. They're not Gonzaga and, Illinois and Baylor and Iowa and all these teams that we think are the greatest in college basketball. But when it comes down to it, at that moment, those are the 2 best teams in the country on the floor. That's how these guys treat these games. This is our national championship, and they leave everything out on the floor. Now, unfortunately for Appalachian State, they left everything out of the bucket in the first half of that ball game. Had they not gone 0 for 18 from 3 in the first half of that game, I kind of feel like they wouldn't have lost by 1. Mm-hmm. That's science. You can't refute that.
No, we can't.
But Norfolk State gets the win 54-53 over Appalachian State. Appalachian had a shot at it at the end, and they just couldn't put up a good shot. Wichita State, they had a shot at it at the end, and they got a decent look. I'll give them that.
Goal, man.
Do what?
He should have drove to the goal.
It was that thing where he should have just taken one more step. Mm-hmm. If he'd have taken one more step, that basket would have been gold. It'd have been one of the most beautiful swishes you'd ever seen in college basketball history. But unfortunately, it's that whole NBA mentality. These guys have, I can pull up from the logo like Dame. And I hate it when Dame Lillard does it. I damn sure hate it when a junior in college thinks he can do it.
Right.
I've got an extra, second and a half to burn, but I'm going to pull up from 30 feet.
Yep.
Why? Take the good shot. Get the good look. And last night's action, really, we'll throw this out there before I move on. Texas Southern beat Mount St. Mary's 60-52, so they move on, and they're doing stuff. Everybody, it's great. Everybody making a big deal out of this. Is the first time in the NCAA tournament the two historically black colleges have gotten victories. Yeah. So I mean, cool. That's a cool little ancillary fact for moving forward, but. So congratulations to Texas Southern and for Norfolk State. But it got me thinking last night watching the ends of these ball games. When you come down to the end of games in March Madness, you got to have a guy that can take the shot. And I can't believe in your team if you don't have a guy that can take the shot.
Yeah.
You just have to have that guy that's going to go out and get you a clutch basket at the end. And I think that's really what irks me going into tonight's matchup with the Tar Heels and Wisconsin. I look at this Tar Heel team and I've been down on them. I've tried to believe. I've tried to believe and I can't believe. You know why I can't believe? Because you don't have the guy that's going to take the shot.
Right.
I don't have a guy that I can look at on that roster and go, yep, in the last 2 seconds of the ball game, I trust that guy to get the shot up. We just don't have that. The last second wins that North Carolina's had this year have been like Leaky Black getting a lucky mid-range jumper or Andrew Platek driving to the basket. Like those are not those are not dudes that I want having the ball in their hands with 2 seconds left on the clock. Caleb Love hasn't turned into that guy for me. Kerwin Walton, same thing. I think these guys probably have that guy in them, but they haven't developed it yet. And I think it's become one of my new staples of March Madness. If you're going to be successful in March Madness, you got to have the guy that you trust to make the shot.
Right.
And it was clear last night on that last possession for Appalachian State, they didn't have it. They didn't have that guy.
Yeah.
They didn't have that guy to go to. When I think of success in March Madness, I think of a few things that you have to have. Senior leadership is one. Mm-hmm. I think leadership on a basketball team is super important.
Absolutely.
When you get into these tournament games. I mean, these guys are the guys that are going to lift you. They're going to be able to center the team back and say, look, we've been here before. This may be your guys' first time on this floor, but we can do this. You got to have that leadership to keep everybody on game plan at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. Guard play is always huge in March Madness. You can have big guys, and sure, it's going to win you a game or two. But unless you have great guards, I don't think you can win in March. I mean, when was the last time that we saw a team dominated by big men that actually won a national championship? I mean, I've got to go back to... Hell, do you go all the way back to, like, Patrick Ewing?
Well, I mean, Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis was, yeah, but...
But they had a lot of... That was the last team that kind of is the ancillary of this because they had a...
But and now I'm starting to... But it wasn't just Anthony Davis. No. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't just big guys. I can't remember. Oh, it was Austin Rivers. No, that was Duke. Yeah. What was the name of the guard?
Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and...
I can't remember. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, a great big man is a good thing to have, but unless he's matched up with that point guard, it's not. It doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
But I think senior leadership has to be one. Great guard play has to be two. I'm always going to favor you in March Madness if you have a great assist rate. Assist rates are important. Mm-hmm. Moving the basketball is important to winning in March.
Yes.
You want to get everybody involved in the game, and it just goes to speak to that team chemistry. Because very rarely do we ever see a team like, that just has that one great player that carries them to a national championship. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is like Carmelo Anthony with Syracuse. But there again, Syracuse has always been a good team. You put a superstar on a good team, they're going to be great.
Yeah.
They've got other things to to pack around it, or to pack around that superstar. And then you've got a great Hall of Fame coach as well. I don't know. I don't know when the last time, I don't know if there's ever been a case where we just had one guy carry a team to a national championship. I think Carmelo comes closest, but I still give Jim Boeheim credit for being able to turn that team into a winner. Oh, Jerry Mack. I forgot about him. Fuck that guy. Oh, my God. Yes. See, that's what I'm talking about. Shooting threes is really important in the tournament as well. That's why a lot of people are hot on Liberty. They're hot on Liberty, but again, I go back to Liberty got a shitty draw. They got to play Cade Cunningham in Oklahoma State. Yep. So what you going to say about that? You know, I heard Jay Billis on the Paul Feinbaum show yesterday, and he was talking about Liberty, and he was saying that 100% he believes that this is a game that Liberty can win. Yeah, if Cade Cunningham breaks his ankles. I mean, other than that, I don't see a way this team's going to make a run. But I mean, for you, are there things that you look at when you're filling out your bracket run that you look at a team and what are your gut decisions?
I don't know. I look at passing a lot. I look at I don't see Liberty beating Oklahoma State for those reasons, but there is a chance. I don't think there's enough firepower there.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be the issue.
Yeah, but when you're filling out your bracket and you're trying to make the decision on what team to go to, what is your process? What is your process of trying to determine who you should pick and who you shouldn't? Because you know, we're all in this position where we just can't keep up. There's no way that, you know, unless you live in your mom's basement and you have no family and no life, there's no way you can keep up with everything in college basketball.
No.
So one of the things that I love to do is to go down and just look at the team breakdowns and just try to decide, you know, what the factors that I look for are things like, is this team good at turning the ball over? Or are they good at making other teams turn the ball over? Because that's one thing. Your team defense is going to be huge. You're going to be able to take advantage of these larger teams that have a lot of talent, may not be good at the little things, that their talent carries them most of the time. That's just one of the things I look at.
Yeah. Yeah, the defense and offense, though, is something I definitely take a look at in comparison. How a team passes the ball compared to how a team defends the ball, who's some of their strengths and stuff. I look at how good their shooters are. That's a big one. You got some good shooters. That's why
three-point shooting is always important.
Yeah. And then I look at some of the matchups that they've done and how they perform under pressure against high teams.
Right.
And look at their record, and that also helps me decide.
Yeah. The key matchups, the key wins and losses. Who did they play close? That's one of the things that you know, I've waffled on this whole Ohio thing. Is Ohio going to be able to knock off Virginia in the first round? Because that's one of the only ones that I really have a question about. I mean, they have an amazing what's the kid's name? Jason Poston, I think is his name, or Jason Parson, something like that. Anyway, I mean, they've got a really good player on that team. It's going to be a first-round pick in the NBA. And they do take care of the ball well. They do shoot the ball well. And the fact that they played Illinois to like a 5-point game earlier in the season, that kind of matters to me. If they've been able to play tough competition close all year long, then I'm going to expect them to be able to do it at the end of the year when they're better than they were to start out the season.
Right.
And again, the other teams are going to be better as well. But that's one of the things you always have to look at when you're trying to pick out these, you know, Cinderella stories. Colgate and Arkansas seems to be one that everybody's talking about. Yeah. Colgate shoots three-pointers better than, 75% of the country, 80% of the country, something like that. Okay. Arkansas is a team that I have seen, I've seen them blow teams off the floor, and I have seen them play dogfight games in the SEC. Mm-hmm. So, does it matter? Does the level of competition to you matter? It's the fact that when these guys get out there on the floor, all of that, none of that really matters.
It's one game against another.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
None of that matters. We're all locked in on this one game and making this game count. So when I look at a game like today, and I'm, might consider taking a trip over to the book at Harrah's Cherokee Casino that just opened up yesterday morning, and I see that Arkansas is an 8.5-point favorite against Colgate, I think that's a game I want.
Yeah.
I think that's a game that I want to be in on.
What's the spread on that?
8.5.
Yeah.
Arkansas is an 8.5-point favorite. And I'm wanting to plant my flag on Colgate plus 8.5.
Yep.
This is going to be the fun part of the little bracket game that we've been doing. If you haven't joined the bracket game, again, you can get your picks in before noon today. It is still open. The link is in the description of this video, or you can go to the ESPN Tournament Challenge app and just search The Sportsocracy. Get in on the challenge, create your bracket. After this, we're going to have a against the spread second level to the competition. This is just like the little qualifier round. Fun little thing that we can go back and forth here about. The real competition will begin after this. I love picking games against the spread.
Yeah, me too.
But I do have to tell you, on these 116 games, when I see a 23, 25-point spread, what do you think? Do you give the other team a chance more often than not?
Yeah, when it's numbers like that, I do. Because chances are, 23 points is just so much. It's so, you'd have to win like 75 to 50.
Yeah, but you got to remember the level of competition these guys
I know,
are
and I understand that. But then you always have these games where an underdog wins. March Madness is so unpredictable when it comes to that. So whenever it's double digits like that, chances, especially if it's 20 points, I'll take the underdog almost 90% of the time.
Yeah. I don't know.
Who had that spread?
Today is Illinois. Well, they're generally all that way. The ones against the 16s are always that way. Like when Virginia lost to UMBC, UMBC was a 27-point underdog in that game. I mean, immediately made it one of the biggest upsets of all time against the spread. So... But today you have 1:15 tip-off between number 1 seed Illinois and number 16 seed Drexel. Illinois is a 22.5-point favorite.
More, I think that might be pretty spot on.
I'm giving them. I'm giving them.
Yeah.
Give the points. Why not?
Yeah. Illinois is that good.
Normally I would stay away from things like that, but to me, again, the difference between the top and the bottom is so marked in college basketball. Texas Tech's a 4-point favorite against Utah State today, and I don't think that's enough. I really don't.
Oh, nowhere near it. If it was 10 points, I'd still take Texas Tech.
I got Utah State winning that game.
You got Utah State winning that game?
It's okay to be wrong.
Give me your reason.
So Texas Tech is against the spread this year, like 7 games under 500.
Okay.
Which means to me they don't play up to the expectations.
All right, if you didn't hear what he said, he said Texas Tech is 7 games under 500 against the spread this year.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
They don't show up to expectations, so it's...
They don't live up to expectations. Do you know the teams that Texas Tech has lost to this year? Here's all their losses this year. They lost to Houston at the beginning of the season. That's a 2 seed in the tournament, by the way. They lost to Kansas early in the year
3
by 1 point.
Yep.
They lost to Oklahoma State twice by 5, both games. So played the best player in college basketball and the rest of that Oklahoma State team. 5 points twice during the season. They lost by 8 to Baylor, who's a number 1 seed. They lost by 11 to West Virginia, who's a 3 seed. in this tournament. They lost to Kansas again by 6. And then they lost to Texas, who's the 3 seed. Those are their losses. That's all their losses this year. And I will have to imagine that probably half of those games that they didn't fail to cover the spread.
They never got stomped.
Were in all of those games.
Yeah.
I mean, they did. They had a couple of double-digit losses, but to nobody that you would be like, why the hell did they lose that game?
Right.
To me, the fact that Chris Beard coached this Texas Tech team, not all of this Texas Tech team, but this was just 2 tournaments ago, that he got this team from people thought, yeah, they might make the Elite 8, to the national championship game against Virginia and damn near won that ball game. Chris Beard's a good coach, and I get it's a different team. It's 2 years later, whatever. Texas Tech is not a team that I think you want to fuck around with. I actually have them upset in Ohio State to get into the Elite 8.
The tournament is that you could lose. They're talking about Arkansas losing this round. Other experts have Arkansas in the Final Four.
Right.
It's like there's so many things about this tournament where you have to kind of get past these first couple rounds.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be on it in March to be able to make some noise. Your game has to be strong. Today at 12:15, we're going to tip everything off with Virginia Tech and Florida. And to me, I'm on Virginia Tech, full on. Virginia Tech's a 1-point favorite in this game. I would take them to cover that easy. Yeah. I believe in Mike Young, Kive Aluma, and the entire Virginia Tech group. I still just can't get over the fact that Mike Young comes from Wofford, and he has Virginia Tech at the top of the ACC, or near the top of the ACC, so quickly. And he brought his best player with him from Wofford, and that guy ends up being an all-ACC player. Yeah. It just goes to show you're never going to know, you never know where you're going to find really good basketball players in college basketball. And so, a lot of people will look at a game like Ohio State and Oral Roberts and try to write it off completely. You really got to do some homework, though, to find out whether or not Oral Roberts has one of those guys that could be an ACC guy. You just don't know. Right. He just never got the chance. And he'll end up in the transfer portal or something. Storm Murphy, he's the latest one from Wofford that's going into the transfer portal. I guarantee you he's going to land on a roster somewhere. And if he's not the sharpshooter guy to take the shot for Virginia Tech next year, I will be shocked.
Super surprised.
Although I hear Roy Williams is hot on this kid's trail. Roy wants to bring this kid to Carolina. So you just never know. You never know where these little gems lie in college basketball. It's going to be a fantastic day today.
I'm excited.
Everything, like I say, everything kicks off at noon, and it doesn't stop until midnight. Last game of the night tips off at 9:57, and it's that Winthrop-Villanova game. And I really hope I'm able to keep my eyes open. Because that's the problem. Now, it's... I said a couple of weeks ago on the radio that this was the best football season ever because I get to give March Madness updates. The problem with that is I have to work football during March Madness. So I'm gonna be on the local high school football broadcast tonight while the Tar Heels are playing in the tournament. It's just one of the lumps you take because I'm a media whore. And I want to be on the air. And I'll take any opportunity that I can to keep myself in the conversation here. But today's the day that I always look forward to most. And the fact that it's coming on a Friday is weird. But, I mean, it's going to be no different than any other tournament. People talking about, how's it going to affect the tournament if we have no fans and all this, and I am kind of bummed out that none of the venues in Indiana are going to live up to the minimum or the maximum percentage of fans that the NCAA set forth. that was a kind of a bummer yesterday when I found that out.
I'll say that not having the fans is going to affect.
Well, the NCAA came out and said that they were going to allow up to 20 or 25% fans in all of these arenas in Indiana. And then the story came out yesterday that no, actually, there's some that are only going to let in 500 fans, which is like 7%. There's a couple, like Lucas Oil Stadium is going to have 2 different courts in it.
Really?
And one's going to have 6,000 fans, and one's going to have like 5,000 fans or something like that. So maybe when it comes time for the Final Four, we'll have a decent amount of people, but I doubt it. They may just choose one of the courts to focus in on, because that's the way the cameras are trained now, to be close up on the court, so you don't see the fact that there are very few fans in these stands. It is what it is. We're getting the tournament, and we should be thankful for that.
I can't wait.
And I don't think it, I mean, there's something to be said for that, the roar of the crowd and the last moment of the, and maybe it takes a little bit away from it. But, right. Maybe it takes a little bit away from the atmosphere, obviously. I mean, I saw where Nolan Smith did an interview with a podcast the other day, and he was saying, that part of Duke's troubles this year was the fact that there were no fans at Cameron. Okay. How many points are they worth? How many points is a fan base worth in a college basketball game? 4? Maybe. Just on atmosphere alone.
Sounds like a Duke fan making excuses.
Oh, it's definitely the Duke guy making excuses. Don't get me wrong, but there's something to it. There's still something to the fact that these guys are hearing the echo of the basketball on the backboard.
Yeah.
I think it has
to miss a tournament, though.
No, I'm not saying Duke would have had a way better year had they had fans, but there is something to it. There is something to, the lack of atmosphere that we'll have for the March Madness because there's not full fans. But again, be grateful for what you got. We didn't even get this tournament last year, and now the only thing I'm looking forward to is just a full day of basketball goodness today. Tomorrow mainly is what I'm looking for because I got to work during the tournament today. But just that's my routine. Every year, sit down and just basketball from lunch to midnight, and I'm here for it. Let's talk about some NFL.
Yep.
We got free agency going on, and we need to get caught up on what's been happening around the league. Maybe you've been too consumed already with March Madness to know what's been going down. But yesterday we had a couple of players sign their franchise tags, and I just want for all of us to take a moment and imagine in our heads what the moods were like in Jacksonville and Chicago yesterday when Cam Robinson is strutting in to sign his franchise tag that no one on the planet thinks he should have gotten. He struts in, hell yeah, signing my contract. Allen Robinson walked in like he was going to a funeral in Chicago. Like, son of a bitch, I got to stick around for this.
That front office in Chicago within 24 hours went from being all in on Russ to signing Andy Dalton as a starter. That still blows my mind. Within 24 hours, you change your mind on.
Hey, you gotta strike while the iron's hot.
Andy Dalton.
I mean that's just where they are.
Allen Robinson went from, I get
thinking,
Russell Wilson to,
At least I have to imagine, even if Allen Robinson is very sad that he's having to sign the franchise tag with the Chicago Bears, that he's at least sitting there thinking, there is a possibility we could tag and trade. Tag and trades aren't uncommon. We could do this. And with the Bears letting go of Kyle Fuller, shedding some more space, I don't know if that's all about bringing in another top flight wide receiver, because they've been talking to Kenny Gallaudet. And that lasted for about 2 hours. Apparently, it was a very quick meeting between Kenny Gallaudet and the Chicago Bears. And now he's been in New York for 2 days.
Yep.
That makes me think this might be going the Giants' way. That the Giants might end up getting Kenny Gallaudet out of this thing. But if they do that, then are they in a better position? I mean, obviously they put Andy Dalton in a better position if they had both Allen Robinson and Kenny Gallaudet. But being able to sign Kenny Gallaudet in Chicago, would they tag and trade Robinson?
I mean, maybe. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I don't see why you would, unless he was just demanding a trade.
Right. I mean, again, if you're going to have a lackluster quarterback,
right,
you need to have awesome weapons.
Yeah, exactly.
And so this would give them two legitimate weapons if Chicago is able to make this deal. Mm-hmm. Now let's look at Kenny Gallaudet going to the New York Giants. Do you think that I mean, a Giants fan over here, he's all happy about it. But to me, they just go back to sucking with
Danny
a superstar wide
Dimes.
receiver.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's going to be all right this year.
Danny Dimes is going to be all right.
I heard that for about 2 years.
Yeah, we've been hearing Danny Dimes is going to be fine. You just wait. You just wait.
Just you wait.
He's going to learn how to hold on to football at some point.
He's going to learn how to be a quarterback.
This guy's going to learn how to sprint down the field without falling down.
Yeah.
You just wait.
That's the epitome of Danny Dimes when I think of him. It's just blow.
It is. It's tremendously embarrassing. But there again, I mean, we give Danny Dimes a hard time, but
he gives himself a hard time.
I mean, yeah. We're looking for the next one. If the Giants are not already looking for their next quarterback, they're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. Because I'm shoveling the dirt on this thing. I'm not sold on Danny Dimes, and I don't know that he's ever going to turn into anything better than a Mitch Trubisky. There, I said it. I know that hurts your soul. But I still don't. I don't believe it. I don't believe that he's going to become anything better than Mitch Trubisky.
And
he'll be a
Trubisky
decent.
Just signed to the Bills.
Danny Dimes is a decent backup.
Yes.
But he's not a franchise.
You could have changed that signing between the Bills between Trubisky and Danny Dimes, and it would have been the same move.
Oh yeah.
I like the Trubisky going to the Bills. I think that's a good move.
Trubisky going to the Buffalo Bills was a very interesting move. Just because now if something happens to Josh Allen, that offense doesn't really have to miss much of a beat. I mean, obviously, Mitch Trubisky is not Josh Allen, but he can. The plays don't have to change.
Yep.
You can run the same damn playbook, and Mitch Trubisky will be okay with it. Yep. May have a little less running in there because he's not as big and imposing as Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. You may have to dial back the throws, not as many deep balls down the field, but
but it's still good.
But still, yeah, he's a serviceable backup. And it's just a massive insurance policy. To me, it's a perfect fit. And you're not going to spend a whole lot of money on him. And who knows? Maybe something happens. Josh Allen doesn't play for a couple of games, and Mitch Trubisky comes in and plays really well, and then he's got trade value at that point. Because he's not a guy that you're signing to take over your franchise. It's just plain and simple not going to happen. Mm-hmm. Oh, God, what is this? Jalen Hurts. I didn't see this. Jalen Hurts does what? Howie Roseman says he was not told by the owner to prioritize the development of Jalen Hurts. I'm going to call bullshit.
Yep.
I mean, unless you're expecting the Philadelphia Eagles to stick at 9 and draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what they'll do?
No, I think they think Jalen Hurts is the guy. I think them trading Carson Wentz, they have a lot of faith in Jalen Hurts. I think he's the starting quarterback for it.
You think they're that duped in the front office?
They're the Eagles.
Well,
I think they think that Hurts is the dude.
I don't see how anybody could possibly think that is the case.
I'm just saying, when they don't sign one. Yeah. Fly, eagle, fly.
Well,
that's a little hurt eagle.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong on that front. Kyle Fuller being released by the Chicago Bears saves them a lot of money. And it does give them room to sign a wide receiver, whether it be Kenny Gallaudet. I mean, there aren't many guys left. Juju's still out there, but I have it on good authority from the Ginger himself that he's going to end up in New York. Apparently, that is apparently yesterday it was down between just a couple of teams with Juju.
I knew Miami is one of them, but with Will Fuller signing, I don't see that happening.
No, he's not going to Miami. The Giants were apparently interested in Juju, and apparently there was some interest from, or the Jets definitely have interest in Juju. Juju Smith-Schuster ending up with Corey Davis and Jamison Crowder and Denzel Mims, and that becomes an interesting little group that you can
dance on logos
you can grow Sam Darnold with.
They're not going to keep Sam Darnold though.
I think so. I think they're going to keep him.
There's no way they don't get Zach Wilson and trade Darnold.
I think they may go the other way with that. Apparently, the front office of the Jets are convinced that Sam Darnold's struggles at the beginning of his career have been due to coaching.
Yeah.
He has been wrongly coached. And with Adam Gase, of course, we all look at it and go, yeah, I can understand that. I mean, the guy has shown the ability to make some good decisions at times, make some good plays. It's been very few and far between, in my opinion. But, I mean, if Rob Salah and company and LaFleur believe that he can mature into the franchise quarterback with some weapons around him, put some weapons around him, see what happens. We don't have to make a decision on this right now. And we've got the number 2 pick in the draft. We could take Zach Wilson, but we also could sell the number 2 pick, still stay in the top 10 for a team that wants a quarterback. Looking at the Carolina Panthers, looking at the Philadelphia Eagles. Either of those teams could possibly want to move up to 2 to get Zach Wilson. And, the Jets are in a very, favorable position right now. If we go back to the 20 free agents that Jeremy highlighted when he was trying to pinpoint, and I don't think he got a damn one of them. I really don't. I think Shaq Lawson to Jacksonville, or not Shaq Lawson, Shaq Griffin to Jacksonville was like the only one that he got right. And maybe Kyle Van Noy going back to New England. I seem to remember that was part of that. But if you look at the 20 free agents that we highlighted a couple of episodes ago, there are only 4 of them left.
Which ones?
A lot of the pieces have already moved. Anthony Harris is still out there. And then you've got Gallaudet, Chris Carson, and Juju Smith-Schuster. Other than that, everybody on that top 20 free agents list has already landed somewhere.
Yeah.
The New England Patriots, I'm sorry. I'm starting to become a believer again. I mean, I know they got Cam Newton. I'm trying not to buy into it. I tried to get on the Cam Newton train last year of, hey, maybe it's a thing. Maybe he's okay. Maybe he's back. Maybe he's reclaimed something, from his earlier years in the league. And he didn't really show me a whole lot last year. But with what they're building around him and the decisions that are being made to come back and join this team again, this is a very formidable roster. They're putting good players around Cam Newton.
That's true.
And so with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith joining, and I still don't like their wide receivers all that much with Nelson Aguilar and N'Keal Harry and Kendrick Bourne and whatever. But to me, that tells me they realize what they have in Cam Newton.
Right.
They have a guy who can still threaten people by threatening to be mobile. I mean, he can still get out there and get you 5-7 yards. Fine. He's not going to have huge explosive plays. He's not going to be running over guys anymore. But Cam Newton is a guy that you still kind of have to respect. They're shortening the field And they've got guys that they can hit them over the top once in a while. So shorten things up. Try to make Cam Newton hit guys in the short field. I mean, he did complete 65% of his passes last year. And that's a pretty good clip. And if he could continue to do that in this short game, they can grind out nasty, ugly some wins. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be playoff contenders or anything, but I think they'll be right on the outside of that. Between adding Matthew Judon, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, those are all excellent additions. They're bringing back David Andrews. After David Andrews, the center, tested the waters in free agency, he didn't see any deals out there that he wanted to jump at. So now he's decided to come back to keep the offensive line, or at least keep the anchor of that offensive line intact. Ted Karras is coming back, which he's a fine blocker. And then you got Kyle Van Noy, who decided to come back and join this defense. You got Hightower coming back from opting out this past year.
Yep.
They have the pieces to be mediocre.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's not really a slight, but that's like, this is now a solid 8-8 team. Yeah, they hit something good. They might get 10 wins. They've done a decent job, and maybe this is just how they have to do it. This is the only way Bill Belichick can operate, is just, and now he overspent for some of this.
Yeah,
but still, it's going to be a decent product on the field.
He's going to have to. He had to spend that kind of money because he's in a division that's actually good. Yeah, like the Jets are going to be better. Dolphins are good. Bills are good.
Yeah,
they're fighting for the third best team in the division.
Yep. With the Jets. Who, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sold yet.
Yeah.
I'm not sold yet.
I won't be surprised if they have the same record at the end of the year.
The Jets?
Mm-hmm. Jets and Patriots.
Oh, the Jets and the Patriots have the same record of the year.
Yes.
I thought you were saying you wouldn't be surprised if the Jets had the same record next year as they had this year, and I was going to laugh hilariously.
No.
Not because I don't believe it can't happen, but because I would laugh my balls off if that happened, and Jeremy Green's sitting here a year from now going, I don't know what to do.
That won't shock me either.
Because exactly, because it's the Jets. Because it's the Jets. Now, they've been making some moves, and they got, franchise Marcus May. They bring in Carl Lawson. They got Corey Davis. They're apparently on the cusp of signing Juju Smith-Schuster. Gerard Davis, LaMarcus Joyner added to the defense. Those are fine guys. Those are just plug them in and play guys. And they've added Keelan Cole as well, which is, he's a fine little he's a fast little ace in the hole kind of thing to have. But I mean, I know we're early in the process, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting for the big splash.
Yeah.
Juju's a pretty big splash. If you have Corey Davis and Juju, that's a pretty good wide receiver core.
Oh, absolutely. Corey Davis and Juju together would be an amazing set of weapons. Nothing like Sam Darnold has ever seen. And then the fact you add in the fact that he has history with Juju, or Sam Darnold has history with Juju, and that's the way that rolls on. And they don't take a swing on a quarterback. I just, something about that still just bothers me. Teams that have to swing for quarterbacks over and over and over again. And when you feel like you've got a guy that might be able to develop into that guy, don't abandon him now. Yeah. You made the decision a few years ago to go after Sam Darnold. Don't abandon the process before it's over. If you really think that he's talented enough to have this team be good with weapons around him, they need a running back. That's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on them to make the decision on who's going to be running the ball for this team.
Right.
I'm not. I wouldn't be happy if I was Jeremy relying on LaMichael Pirine to run the football. Chris Carson, adding Chris Carson could be really, really good. And I think that's where Jeremy pegged Chris Carson to end up in his top 20 free agents. So he's got a chance to get at least 3 out of the 20 right. Do what?
Leonard Fournette, that could be a spot for Leonard.
Could be a spot for Leonard Fournette, which goddamn make that happen. As much as Jeremy hates Leonard Fournette, yes, please and thank you. Some of the other classes so far in free agency, obviously, we've talked about Washington doing scary stuff, adding Curtis Samuel and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Brandon Scherf gets the franchise tag. William Jackson comes over to help out the defense. They haven't made many moves, but every move they've made is perfect. I mean, other than the quarterback. I wouldn't say that's perfect, but if you believe Taylor Heineke's the guy, then it's a perfect move.
It's a good move. Yep.
Right. You bring in a guy to bring him along. The Raiders. You love the Raiders
I love
so
the Raiders.
much.
Yep. I just want them to get Russ so bad.
So now they're a team that has Yannick Ngakoue.
Yep.
They've got Solomon Thomas.
Yep.
They just signed Kenyon Drake, which I'm kind of scratching my head over that.
I like Kenyon Drake.
But you got Josh Jacobs. What is
1-2 punch.
Are there enough touches to go around to keep everybody happy there? You think they're afraid of the amount of tote that they've been given?
Catcher.
Huh?
Kenyon Drake's a good pass catcher, which I think with Josh Jacobs there, it's a good.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand it. Josh Jacobs is more the bruiser back, and then you've got, kind of like the slash and dash days. Was that what it was for the Carolina Panthers when they had D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like it.
I can see that.
Especially if you had Russell Wilson.
Right. And when you do have a young running back that you've been running 300 times a year, it feels like, in Josh Jacobs, you want to scale back that usage a little bit. And then they added John Brown, who's the guy who's capable of stretching the field. Mm-hmm. So they're not making bad moves. The Minnesota Vikings with Patrick Peterson, I thought was a good move. Dalvin Tomlinson, just beefing up the defensive side of the ball. But they're still going to be bad.
That's the
problem.
Kirk Cousins' team.
It is.
The Bengals just signed Riley Reef away from Minnesota.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Yeah.
The Bengals did?
Yeah, that's a big signing.
They've been doing some good stuff.
They have been. I'm going to add that to my... Trey Hendrickson, Mike Hilton, Chidobe Awuzie, Larry Ogunjobi. All those guys added on the defensive side of the ball now. You've beefed up in the secondary. The offensive line, or the defensive line, is fortifying now. Mm-hmm. You got Trey Hendrickson matching up.
Yep.
I think it's going to be really good. And then you add a Riley Reef to the offensive line. And that's a very solid blocker, and that's the one thing that we've always talked about. You have to have that offensive line. What's that?
You get Reef, and then you can sign and draft Rasul, and it's like, whoa, now we got people to protect on Joey.
Oh yeah, Joe Burrow is going to be well protected. Do what?
Burrow down.
The Cleveland Browns, they signed Troy Hill, and to me, that is another move that is going to make this defense even more scary. They're learning that Baker's stuck. We're stuck with Baker, so we've got to make this the rest of the team better, and they've done that so far. They've added John Johnson. They've added Troy Hill. Tack McKinley, I mean, he can be a useful piece for 6 downs a game.
Yeah.
That's just a situational pass rusher. But that Cleveland defense has become even more feared now with the addition of Troy Hill.
Yeah.
The Carolina Panthers, they picked up Hassan Reddick. And to me, with Hassan Reddick on one side, and then you're going to have Brian Burns on the other side, that defense starts to take shape even more now. They picked up Denzel Perryman as well. Morgan Fox is being brought in for the Rams. He's the guy who had 6 sacks last year playing next to Aaron Donald. And I get he's playing next to Aaron Donald, so he's going to get a little bit more opportunity to get back there because Aaron Donald's going to create the hole and he's going to be able to squeeze through it. But he gets to go play with Derek Brown now.
Yep.
So the Carolina Panthers defensive line looks good. The offensive line is still just kind of a mishmash of dudes, but at least I feel like they're okay dudes. PFF grades may not be great, but I think Pat Elflein's an okay, offensive lineman. The way that offense moves, though, I mean, it's a quicker offense. So you don't have to have guys that can just hold their blocks forever to wait on the quarterback to make a decision. It's a quick strike offense. So dudes are fine. And I think Carolina is what? I mean, that we all know that they're fighting at this point for third place in the division.
Yeah.
Actually, second place.
Second place.
We'll say that. They're fighting for second place in the division now. With the New Orleans Saints being quarterbacked by Jameis Winston. Yeah. I can see where the Panthers have a shot at second in the division.
Especially if they get Desean somehow, some way.
Right. Let's talk about Brian's Giants.
Giants.
Because the Giants, they're still just signing guys, and I think they might have taken a book from like 4 years ago, and they took the player prospectus and went, yeah, these are the dudes that we want. We want John Ross and Devontae Booker and Kyle Rudolph. He's a great tight end.
These guys play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we need somebody to be reliable to back up Danny Dimes. So they signed Mike Glennon. Now, if they are able to swing a deal for Kenny Gallaudet, I will feel different about this class. But at the moment, I don't think I can give the Giants any more of a grade higher than C minus.
C minus. C is the highest I would go.
I'd say C
minus seems right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just nothing that you really. I might make them a C plus with the Leonard Williams deal. Because I think that's the one thing that they've done
That's
well.
the only thing keeping them from a D, though. If they didn't sign him, they'd have been a D. Right.
The Arizona Cardinals have added A.J. Greene. They got Rodney Hudson in a trade from the Vegas Raiders. And Matt Prater is now going to go down to the desert, kicking a dome for a couple of years.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that. We added a kicker, man. But you look at it, it's a team that doesn't really have a whole lot of holes. And so, but the moves that they have made have been solid. Oh, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers continue to do it. They're bringing back Ryan Suckup. I mean, $4 million a year is a lot to pay for a kicker.
With our kicker woes, I don't care. Give him the money.
All right.
Just don't miss.
After the Roberto Aguayo and
just don't
the revolving
up.
doors of, I miss Connor Barth.
Yeah. Connor Barth.
I mean, at least he was a dude that you could go out there and you'd be like, yeah, we got a good shot.
Or Grammatica.
Martine was just a different animal. He was just
dumb.
He was just my dude. What?
He was dumb.
He was
Mr.
dumb.
Automatica.
Why do you say he's dumb?
He's just jumping around like he was fucking winning the goddamn Super Bowl every
Because that was his job. He did good job. Good job, Bo. Mr. Automatica.
I think you're thinking of Bill,
No, they both did it.
his brother.
He didn't blow his knee out like his brother did.
Exactly.
That was hilarious.
His brother celebrated the field goal and
blew his leg.
and then broke his foot or blew his knee out or some shit like that.
Those are my favorite YouTube videos. The one that have people celebrating and then getting hurt.
Oh yeah.
Those are my favorite.
Well, it's the one thing that this year has taught us is that Schadenfreude is one of our favorite things as the American people. When we can see other people suffer, we can take joy in that. And I'm okay with it. I'm really okay with it because, people suck. And, and I'm not a huge fan. But I mean, I think those are mostly the big deals that have happened over the last couple of days. To me, New England's building things. And I know I'm going to get crucified on Monday when Jeremy gets back for saying this. But I don't hate it completely.
Yeah.
I'm almost with we have this new little tool that gives us access to all the regional sports networks and stuff. And we were watching one from New England the other day, and they were talking about, with all of these moves that have been made, now the one thing that we need to improve upon is the quarterback.
Yeah.
And so, do we have space to bring in another quarterback? Why the fuck would you bring in another quarterback? You just signed Cam Newton for $5 million, possibly $14 million. You didn't do that because you want him to be the backup.
It won't shock me if Bill tries to draft the quarterback in like the 5th round and be like, look, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. It would not shock me.
Let's see if he can transform one of these lesser-known quarterbacks into something.
Sit behind Cam Newton, learn everything from a starting quarterback.
Yeah, but what can? Well, I was getting ready to say, what possibly could Cam Newton teach him?
That's what. Yeah, that was. Yeah.
That was the point. Okay, I'm sorry, I missed the joke. I thought you were
okay.
trying to be a little serious.
No.
I'm gonna look just for argument's sake. I want to look and see if we can put a ridiculous prediction on who he'll try to make a future Tom Brady. Oh, Jamie Newman. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Jamie Newman. Let's take Jamie Newman in the 6th round and see how that works. I don't know. To me, part of the tight end signings for for New England showed that Bill might have actually figured out that he's not good at this whole drafting thing. Because in the last draft, he took 2 tight ends in the 4th round, and neither of them ever played.
Yep.
Devin Asiasi and the kid from Virginia Tech. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Did they even make the team?
Yeah, they made the team. I mean, they were there. No, they didn't. They never did anything. He wants to go back to this 2 tight end thing that they had, in the heyday of Rob Gronkowski and
Aaron Hernandez.
And Murder One.
Oh my God.
And and they want to try to trot that back with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. And I don't see any reason why it can't work. I get it. Cam Newton is not Tom Brady, but he could do worse. You could be stuck with Mike
Danny
Glennon
Dimes.
or Jarrett Stidham or Brian Hoyer or Danny Dimes. Are you hearing this?
Yeah,
he's not even paying attention. No, he just completely got caught off guard with that one.
Danny Dimes is amazing.
He just said Cam Newton's better than Danny Dimes.
What?
Yeah, I knew he didn't hear it.
No, I didn't hear it.
The Houston Texans, they continue to sign players. Desmond King is now coming over to play corner for the Houston Texans.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
That
happened.
Super hot. Other than Tyrod Taylor, I don't think they've brought in a decent player yet. Because
no
everybody
one wants to go there.
Right, everybody
No one
knows
wants to
what's
go
coming.
there.
And now it's getting worse. Now this whole situation is getting god awful.
I told you that thing might happen.
What?
Where they had an ability to trade him, and now they're going to get stuck where he might just be stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we didn't want to believe it when it first came out. There's a masseuse that has accused Desean Watson of, inappropriate behavior. Touching tips. Yeah, I guess that's the way to put it. But he's been accused. And apparently there's, it started out at 2 more. Started out at 3.
The third civil.
Now there's 4. Now there are 3 suits filed.
Yep.
3 lawsuits filed against Desean Watson, but the lawyer says there are 9 women now that have come forward to accuse Desean Watson of sexual assault. And the third case is more disturbing than the first case and the second case combined, because now we're talking actual him forcing a masseuse to do a sexual act on him rather than just touch him inappropriately or him touching them inappropriately.
Yeah, I know you can't do that.
No.
That's a no-no.
That's not allowed.
That's a no-no.
So the fact that these keep getting worse and the accusations get harsher and harsher as they go along.
Not looking good.
And now they're up to a supposed 9 accusers against Desean Watson. I don't see how you can move it. I don't see how there's a team in the NFL that'll take him. Not until something
missed their shot.
Not until something shakes out about this whole thing. Again, it's one of those things that you're just baffled by, because the thing, the sports world has built Desean Watson up to be this, unattainable leader, clean-cut guy, cut from the Dabo Sweeney tree that would never do wrong. He's the perfect teammate for all his teammates, and all of that can be true. But there may be a darker side that we don't know about, and again, like I say, nothing surprises me anymore, but I'm finally at the number where I'm thinking there may be actual fire to this
I'm
smoke.
starting to think that.
There may, one is odd, and the way that it was originally reported that the lawyer came out with a, 7-figure settlement or something like that was the first thing that we heard about this case, and immediately your mind goes to money grab. Yep. That's what this is. But then the number of accusers starts rising, and you go, maybe there is something to this.
Yeah, maybe something's going on.
Maybe Desean is a little too handsy, and maybe even more when he gets in the room with masseuses, because now there's text messages. Now they've got text messages and direct messages and stuff like. Oh,
that's where you got.
Apparently, he's sending text messages apologizing for his behavior in some of the massage sessions.
Guilty.
There are direct messages of him just sending random messages to masseuses that he has no connection to. It's like, because he keeps. My mind automatically goes to, well, of course he's trying to find new ones because he's already offended the other ones.
Oh, no.
In some way.
Oh, no.
So it gets to the point where the evidence starts to stack the other way, and you go, maybe there is a thing with Desean. Maybe he's not okay. And maybe that doesn't affect his play on the field, but there are more things to life than that. And you really got to start making your decision on what kind of guy this is. Now, he still says they're baseless claims.
Desean Watson.
None of it happened.
Presented by Massage Envy.
But don't do that. They have a strict corporate policy against that.
Yeah.
No. That's a well-run organization. Nothing untoward happens there. I am a customer of that place, and I can tell you, nothing happens there. Anyway, the Desean Watson thing is getting out of control. And I think they are at the point where nothing is going to happen with Desean. There's no team that's going to try to reach out and make a deal with them now, because now it's out of their hands. Now it's out there. And now everybody's rolling with it. And everybody's going to have a field day with this. It's going to be talked about up and down, inside and out. People are going to be reading court documents on radio stations and all of that. Can you believe what happened or what he's accused of? I don't see any way that a Desean Watson trade happens now. And now
Unless, I guess you know what team accepts people with messed up past? The Raiders.
The Raiders.
They got that Antonio Brown guy with the Raiders.
Yeah, that might be a path forward, but again, I don't think he's going anywhere. And
yeah, I don't think so either.
Which
is crazy, because that was one quarterback we all thought for sure was the one being traded.
Yeah. Yep. It's unfortunate.
What a Houston thing. There's so many.
Everybody's been trying to jump
huge trades.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And now you're gonna be like, hey, I'll take a fourth.
Yeah.
You want him?
You're gonna send us a fourth rounder, maybe 2 fourth rounders. And at this point, I don't think anybody's gonna take the bait on that. It's gonna be a fun day of basketball. That's all I can say. We are about 2 hours away from the tip-off of the NCAA Tournament's first round. Yes, I still call it the first round because everybody still calls them the play-in games. I mean, these things take getting used to, but we're still calling them the play-in games. And so we're still going to be first-round action. Stop at NCAA. We're not changing to the second round. This is the first round. The field of 64 is the only thing that matters in the NCAA tournament, and I can't wait for it. It's one of my favorite things that happens on television. March Madness is probably number one for me, and then the NFL is number two.
Ooh.
And the NFL just signed a $10 billion a year deal with all of the networks. We have $10 billion a year, which again is going to spike up that salary cap.
Yep.
The deal is through the 2033 season. It's going to keep the Sunday afternoon games on CBS and Fox, Sunday night games on NBC. Monday night games will be on ESPN. Some of those games will be moved over to ABC. Amazon Prime has now got the exclusive rights to Thursday Night Football, except for in the local markets. The local markets will still show the games on the over-the-air television. But Amazon Prime is going to be the exclusive way to get Thursday night games. And Monday Night Football, they've added a flex. Nice. And that's my favorite part of this entire deal. We knew the money was going to be huge. Mm-hmm. And all of the networks were going to get their little piece of the NFL. But Monday night being able to flex the games starting in week 12 of the season, I think is my favorite part of this entire deal.
Yeah.
Because some of the matchups that we've had on Monday Night Football have been just terrible.
Yep.
I mean, last year we ended up with, what was it? We ended up with games like the Bears and the Bills and the
Steelers and Jets, or
the Seahawks and the Eagles.
Oh.
Late in the season.
Patriots.
We had the Bills and the 49ers. We had these lopsided matchups that were just
boring.
Bad. They were just bad. The Steelers and the Bengals from week 15. Yeah. Finally, the NFL and its TV partners have agreed that we need to have the best matchups on primetime football.
Yep.
And I believe the way this is going to work is that the Sunday night games won't change. The Sunday night games will be a set schedule as much as they already are. And then the Monday night game will be able to get the best matchup of the rest of the weeks. So that means instead of like Steelers and the Bills in week 15 last year, we could have ended up seeing the Chiefs and the Saints.
Which much better.
On Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Even at that point in the season, the Seahawks and the Redskins would have been a better team. Wow, that could, it says it. Ooh, your schedule says it.
Oh.
You shouldn't do that. Seahawks and the football team. Excuse me, I was reading. Blame that one on CBS, not on me. I think this is actually something that should exist well before this. I think halfway through the season is when they should start flexing games. Halfway through the season, you know who the top half and the bottom half of the league is. You can tell what a lopsided matchup is going to be and what a god-awful matchup is going to be.
Yep.
I mean, just looking at last year's schedule again, we had the Patriots and the Jets in week 9.
Yeah. Ooh.
By that point in the season, we knew exactly who these two teams were. We knew the Jets were god-awful because they were 0-8 at that point. And then the Patriots were just hard to watch. And nobody wants to see that on Monday Night Football. by the way, the flex game that week probably would have ended up being Seahawks and the Bills.
Yeah, it's a good one.
You remember that game? Mm-hmm. I think that was the game where we broke the bar at the social. It was a great game. So I think that's the best part of the TV deal to me. And again, the money's going to be a huge factor. $10 billion a year is going to funnel a lot of money to these teams. And the projections, I'm still seeing them remain the same. By 2023, they're expecting that the salary cap is going to swell back to $220 million. And if that's the case, then we're going to continue to see a lot more parity in the NFL. We're going to see a lot more teams be competitive. And I'm all here for it because we got some risers and fallers right now. And I'll be frank with you, I don't think the Cincinnati Bengals are too far away from being a competitive team. Mm-mm. With everything that they've added here, I don't think that the Cleveland Browns are too far off from saying we actually might have a legitimate shot at a Super Bowl. I mean, not winning one. I don't necessarily think that win one. But, I mean, hell, they made it the second week of the playoffs this year.
They should have beat the Chiefs, too.
And now their defense is better than it was last year, and their offense is going to be just fine.
Yeah.
So, I'm all here for it. Free agency continues throughout the day, but, like I said, in less than 2 hours, we got college basketball. First round of the NCAA Tournament is going to be underway, and we will keep you up to date on all of it this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. This is the Sportsocracy. Be sure to like, share, and follow us on all the social medias. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel here. We are live from the Wicked Weed Studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Ron George. We'll see you Monday.